Hello, this is the second tutorial of this series. In the first tutorial we were showing how to use the slider controlling the images that are projected on the polygons of a cube. Now instead of the slider we shall project one image per frame, so that the images will run fast as possible, in fact, because you cannot show the images faster than one per frame, and this is practically the normal way you would like to project a video on some objects when you want to explain something with the video. Let's see the result first. This is the result. The numbered pictures about which I was telling in more detail in my previous tutorial are now going as fast as possible on this computer. Let us look at the code now. The code is as always on the camera object, and it is called the texture runner. You should not forget to fill when you yourself do the code, to paste the code that I made, to fill these two public variables for the mobile diffuse shader and for the first picture. And let us now look at the code itself. The code is not very difficult, even simpler as the one in the first tutorial of this part. At the start it is just the same as it was before. We assign our variables, and then let us repeat just quickly. The temporal texture is the texture. I shall make it larger so you can see it better. The temporal texture is the one you see on any moment on the screen. The maximal number of images in this case is 23, because we have 1 and 2, 3 and so up to 22, and we also have the picture 0, so altogether it is 23. The image number is the current number of the image we show on the screen, and then we define our image cube object. This is the cube we are seeing on the screen, which we find it by name, and if it is not found, then we display an error message. We assign a material to this image cube, to our cube object, and this is a mobile diffuse shader, the shader that we assigned to the public variable at the beginning when we drag this script to the camera object. The TXTMP is the texture we see on the screen, and it is changing. This is the initial. It is T1. Here you can put any image you like, but let us start with one, because this is the way the counter then later on works. And finally we set the texture as main texture, and this is the TXTMP that is set on the object as main texture. Now we don't have any on GUI function, because we don't have any slider. We don't have any interaction with the user in this program. It just runs by itself. Therefore it is only the update function which is executed once per frame, and at first we calculate the number which is the current image number. We use the frame count and divide the frame count. Time frame count is the function that returns the current frame count. At the first frame this is number 1, at the frame 100 it is number 100, at the frame 1000 it is number 1000. And because we have only 23 images, we have to use the remainder of this when we divide by image max number. This means at the beginning, when, for example, the frame count is 10, then if we find out the remainder of 10 divided by 23, the remainder is 10. On the other hand, If the remainder is more than 23, then if the frame count is more than 23, then the remainder will just be from 0 to 22, and that is what we want to have. Here we can print this, so to see if our program was well coded, and later on you will also understand very easily what I was explaining just a little ago with the remainder function. Finally, we assign texture name the same as before. We use the prefix t. Every image here starts with t and then with the image number, which we calculated here above. We assign, just as we assigned at the start, text, TMP renderer material, and finally we at this point the texture has been shown on the stage, and later on we just increase the image number by 1, and if the image number is larger than the number of maximal images, this is in our case 22, then we set it back to 1. That's all of the code. Let us save this and look how it works. Here at the console we shall see the output of the print function. It changes as fast as possible, and if we look what has happened, here at the frame at the beginning the frame count was 1 and image number was 1, and then it goes so on. Let us look at the critical point here, 22. You see 22 is the maximal number of our images, and also image number is 22. As we want to, as the program goes, as the frame count goes to 23, this is the 23rd frame of the program shown on the stage, the 23rd frame. The image number jumps to 0 because we are calculating the remainder of the frame count divided by 23, and then it grows on and on until it reaches again the number 22 here. That's it. So let us look at the code again. This was displayed by this print line, which was showing on the console window the results. We can comment it back because we don't need this output anymore, and I saved it already, and now let us look again what happens. You see everything works well, and we don't have any printout now. So this was for the second part of this tutorial group. Thank you.